I wasn't supposed to hear it. The house was quiet, shadows stretched long across the floorboards, and I had stepped back inside only because I left my lighter on the kitchen counter. That's when I heard her voice. My wife's voice, soft, hushed, sharp with calculation. "He's a dirt kicker. Raid his barn at midnight. Make it look like you killed him in self-defense." I froze. Every instinct honed from years of black ops told me not to breathe, not to move, not to let the sound of my own pulse betray me. Her tone was clinical, unshaken. She wasn't scared. She wasn't crying. She was directing. And then the voice on the other end, male, older, authority dripping through the static. Her father, sheriff of this county, corrupt, ruthless, untouchable. The floor tilted beneath me. My wife, the woman who smiled at me over coffee this morning, who laughed when I kissed her cheek, she was conspiring to bury me 6 feet under, a story no one would question. But she didn't know the truth about the land we lived on. That farm wasn't random. I chose it because of what lay beneath it, a forgotten armory, special forces, classified, mine now. If her father's department came walking in at midnight, they wouldn't be walking out. I sat at dinner with her that night. She poured wine, asked me about the fence line, laughed when I teased her about burning the bread. And the whole time, I replayed that call in my head. Her betrayal wasn't impulsive. It wasn't rage. It was planned, cold, and deliberate. Every detail of her face was a mask I had to memorize, because soon that mask would crack. I thought of the nights she told me she loved me, the way she pressed her head against my chest, listening to a heart she was already plotting to stop. The fork in my hand trembled once. I set it down carefully. She didn't notice. She leaned forward, brushed her fingers against mine, smiled like nothing was wrong. And all I could think was, how long had this been brewing? How many whispered calls? How many smiles rehearsed in the mirror? I wanted to believe it was her father's coercion, but I'd heard her tone. She wasn't begging him, she was commanding him. The betrayal dug into me like shrapnel. Not just her, the life I thought I had, the home, the peace, all of it a stage built on lies. I moved through the next day with surgical precision, outwardly calm, inwardly dissecting every second. Phone records confirmed it, calls, nightly, hidden under aliases, payments from her account routed to her father's shell businesses. I checked the barn, planted motion detectors, thermal imaging, every approach covered. On the surface, I was fixing a fence post. In reality, I was rigging the ground with silent deterrents, tools I hadn't touched in years but never forgot how to use. And her? She kissed me goodbye in the morning, told me she'd visit her sister, came back smelling of perfume that wasn't hers. Every sign stacked up, every lie layered neatly atop the other. She was careful. She thought she was clever. But careful people forget one thing. Silence doesn't erase the truth. It amplifies it. And in the silence, I could hear the clock ticking down to midnight. By 11:30, I was sitting in the dark of the barn. No light, no sound. My pulse steady. And then, headlights, engines, doors slamming shut, boots crunching gravel, the sheriff's men, her father's men, armed, confident, convinced of the lie they'd been fed. She wasn't with them. She didn't need to be. She's already sentenced me. I let them walk inside, every step deeper into a tomb they didn't know they'd entered. When the first blast of tear gas swallowed their vision, when the first charge disabled their radios, when their formation splintered into chaos, I sat perfectly still. Because it wasn't about killing them. Not yet. It was about proving her wrong, showing her that the man she dismissed as a dirt kicker was something else entirely. At dawn, she found me in the kitchen, calm, drinking coffee. Her eyes flicked to the mud on my boots, the faint trace of smoke on my clothes. Rough night? She asked. Too casual, too rehearsed. I set a folder on the table. Phone records, transfers, audio of her call, pulled from the encrypted line she thought was safe. Her face drained. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't accuse. I simply asked, why? She stammered, lies first, then silence, then tears. I didn't move, didn't soften. I just let her unravel, piece by piece, while the weight of her own betrayal crushed her chest. By noon, she was gone, packed bags, red eyes, empty promises muttered as she left. I didn't stop her. I didn't need to. The truth had already done the work. I sat alone at the table, the folder still open, the evidence staring back like an epitaph to the life we once had. I thought I'd feel rage or grief. Instead, I felt nothing, because the moment she chose betrayal, she severed herself from me, and all that was left was clarity. She thought she could end me with one call. Instead, she ended us, and I would never let her forget that.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.